If you've clicked on this video, I'm guessing that you're interested in learning Japanese. And whether your goal is to watch anime without subtitles, read a Japanese newspaper, or just chat with your Japanese friends or teachers, I promise you that learning Japanese is worth it. Hi, I'm Bo, and welcome to my channel. I've been living in Osaka for a long time, and while I may not be a native Japanese speaker, I do speak at a high level of fluency, and today I want to share some tips with you that helped me become more proficient in my Japanese. I hope that they'll be helpful for you too, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or maybe an advanced learner. Without further ado, let's get started with tip number 1. If you haven't already, learn hiragana and katakana immediately. I know it's tempting to rely on Romaji using the English alphabet to try and read Japanese words, but in the long run, this hurts your pronunciation and forces an English pronunciation onto Japanese words. Japanese is phonetically limited compared to English, and by learning the characters first, you understand how the sounds are actually formed. This gives you a massive head start on reading and will help your pronunciation in Japanese in the long run. You don't need a fancy course to learn hiragana and katakana. You can simply look up a YouTube video that shows the stroke order for each character and also shows you the native pronunciation in Japanese. This may take you a few days or a week to learn these characters, and of course even longer to become able to read them quickly, but I promise this will get significantly easier and will give you a massive head start in learning Japanese. And if you've already started learning Japanese, it's never too late to learn hiragana and katakana. So get started now. Tip number 2 may be the most important on this list, and that is focusing on input. What I mean by input is kind of flooding your brain with Japanese, whether that's YouTube videos, Netflix, your favorite anime, music, or podcasts. Ideally, you're watching or listening to these without English subtitles, and even better if you can have Japanese subtitles. You might be thinking, I won't be able to understand what I'm listening to, or I want to start trying to speak right away. And that's fine, you can try that if you want. But the point of input in the beginning is to get yourself used to the cadence and the sounds of the language. When you try to force output right from the beginning without a frame of reference for how natural native Japanese sounds, this may have ill effects on your pronunciation and you may build habits that are hard to break later. A quick tip for getting more input in Japanese, especially if you like to watch YouTube like I do, is creating a second YouTube account. On this account, you should only subscribe to channels that post videos in Japanese, or maybe Japanese language learning content as well. With this second account, you can spend however much time you have in the day to dedicate to your Japanese learning. Whether that's 10 minutes, 30 minutes, or 2 hours, consistency is key. So pick an amount of time that you're willing to dedicate to your Japanese learning journey every day and consume content in Japanese. If you're looking for a specific recommendation, check out Yuyu no Nihongo Podcast, or Yuyu no Nihongo Podcasto. Yusuke is a Japanese YouTuber who has been living in Mexico and teaching Japanese in Spanish for a long time. He has a ton of different videos and podcasts that cover different topics, so I'm sure you'll find something that you're interested in and want to listen to. Quick reminder, you don't have to understand everything that you're listening to. The input will still benefit you, so please give it a try. If you're looking for content that's more focused on Japanese accent, pronunciation, or more specifically pitch accent, I highly recommend you check out Dogen. Pitch accent is not an area that I have mastered, but I do think it's important for everybody who is interested in learning Japanese at a high level to check out. So please check out his channel or go to his Patreon if you're interested in pitch accent lessons. Tip number 3, tackle the kanji. This is where a lot of people run away because learning kanji feels daunting. But I promise, if you want to live in Japan in the future, you will need to learn kanji. Menus, signs, paperwork, people's names, kanji is everywhere. And if you do want to be literate, then you will need to learn some. My advice would be aiming for a modest goal, something like studying 7 kanji per week. Learn the meanings of the kanji, learn their stroke order, learn words that are associated with them, and practice writing the characters as well as writing them in sentences. The next week, you can move on to the next 7 characters. If 7 kanji a week is too much for you, try learning 2 or 3 a week, or maybe even 1. Anything is better than 0. And if you have more gas in the tank, well, go for 10 kanji a week, or 15, or even more. The pace that you learn at is up to you, and just because someone else is learning more per week or studying more, that doesn't mean you have to. Do what fits your lifestyle. As you continue your input from tip number 2, you'll start to see kanji that you're studying show up in the subtitles of YouTube videos you're watching, or your favorite anime, for example, or maybe the manga that you're reading. As you start to recognize more of these characters, it'll give you a confidence boost and likely motivate you to keep studying kanji. I know it feels overwhelming in the beginning, but I promise this will pay off. Tip number 4 is a tool recommendation. There's an app on the App Store that's free, has no ads and no in-app purchases, and it's simply called Japanese. You can look up English words on this app and find the word in Japanese. You can also look up the words in Japanese and see English translations. When you look up these words, oftentimes you'll see example sentences where you can go in, click on the kanji, a word, a verb within the sentence, and go to a specific page dedicated to that word, verb, or kanji. You can also add those words, verbs, or kanji into a list so that you can go back and review them. You can also go to the study tab and study different kanji, study grammar that's associated with different levels of the JLPT, and much more. This app is simple, but it's one of the best all-in-one tools for studying Japanese that I've found, and it costs nothing, so please give it a try. And finally, tip number 5 is be consistent. I mentioned earlier that however much time you have to dedicate to immersion or input is totally fine, whether that's 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, or more. Maybe that's listening to a podcast for 15 minutes on your commute to and from work, or maybe it's practicing your 7 kanji for that week when you wake up in the morning or before you go to bed. Do what works for you and stay consistent. Try and shift your mindset. Instead of thinking about how hard it will be to learn Japanese and how much time you'll have to dedicate, think about if you do just dedicate 15 minutes or 20 minutes a day, the compound effect that that will have, and how much better at Japanese you will be in 6 months or a year from now. The bottom line, any time you can dedicate to your Japanese learning will get you further than not dedicating any time at all. Learning Japanese, or any language for that matter, is a marathon, not a sprint. But if you focus on input, build your foundation, and stay consistent, you will get there. For anyone watching this video, I'd love to hear from you and find out where you're at in your Japanese journey. Do you have any advice you'd like to share as well? If you do, please leave a comment. Thank you for watching, and good luck on your Japanese journey.